Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Corvus Cornix, and welcome to Classic Movie Rambles, where I talk about old movies that I found in my closet while cleaning. This week's movie is Angel, or more specifically the episode Blind Date. It's about 41 minutes long and starring David Boreanaz and Charisma Carpenter. And the movie starts with a blind woman walking into trouble, and then cutting to Angel, the main protagonist of the show, this vampire with a soul. It's cursed to do good things, basically. And he attacks this vampire in an alleyway, and he beats them up. And this injured man stumbles into the scene, and he later dies. And then he gets attacked by the blind woman, and then she disappears. And then cutting to Angel's office, where he's like this private kind of investigating kind of service. And he tries to find out about this blind woman, and they do some snooping around. And his secretary finds out that the name of the blind woman is Vanessa Brewer. So he goes to the woman's... she's at trial for some reason, and she's defended by this evil company called Wolfram and Hart, by this lawyer called Lindsay. And it's kind of a funny scene. Angel enters the courtroom, and he throws the glasses that the blind girl left on the scene, and she catches this with her like hands and fingers and whatnot. So she has this overnatural kind of supernatural powers. She's not really blind, but we will get to that later. And then cutting to Angel return to his office, and then cutting to Wolfram and Hart. This is literally like the devil's office. It's an evil corporation that deals with demons. So this is set in like a supernatural world where like werewolf and demons and vampires exist. And Angel is actually a vampire. I said that before, but so Lindsay talks to his boss about this contract and whatnot, and this blind girl thanks him personally because he actually defended her so well, so she didn't get any like penalty or whatever. And then cutting to Angel's office, and he's upset and angry and a bit emo actually for the time. So there's kind of like this kind of, I don't feel sorry for him, but he's kind of whining about that Wolfram and Hart always get away with these stuff. And then Lindsay, the lawyer that defended the blind girl, enters the room, and he says like basically that he wants out of this Wolfram and Hart business because they're basically evil. And he basically explains to Angel that he has, fought for everything in his life. He had a hard upbringing, and he's like, he doesn't want to do this anymore and whatnot. And Angel kind of like, oh, I'm sorry about this. Like, are you finished? That's like a funny scene. And then Lindsay also tells him that she'll be out to kill some kids. And then they both advise a plan on how to get into Wolfram and Hart. And then there is like this conversation between one of Angel's allies, him and a guy named Gunn. He's like basically a thug, like a street gangster, I guess. And they make up a deal which become important in a bit. And then Lindsay enters Wolfram and Hart, and he goes down to the basement, and he leaves his key card for Angel so that he can access stuff. And then Gunn enters the lobby and with his guys, and he drops off a living vampire inside of Wolfram and Hart because they capture one in an alleyway, and the security kind of... They does this because Wolfram and Hart has demons that can sort of read minds and whatnot. So they also have a way to detect if a vampire is on premise. So that's why they need a vampire, because so he can slip in unnoticed. But what happens is that Angel gets into the vault, and he gets the evidence that he needs, and he also gets like a strange scroll because for some reason he feels like he needs to pick it up. And then the alarm goes off, and he gets out of there. And then Lindsay and the others get called in because they believe this was an inside job, and they get confronted by the boss and two mind readers. And Lindsay, of course, is trying to hide that he's guilty, but he doesn't get killed off. One of his colleagues does, because he's been having like affairs with another company about information, so he gets killed. So just when Lindsay thought that he could walk free, the boss calls him in and explains to him like that he knows what he did, and there's like this kind of weird scene where there's like a bodyguard between the boss, and he has like this gun, and the boss says like I can order him just to shoot you and tell me like why he shouldn't do that. And then he explains to him like he just wanted out of Wolfram and Hart, and the boss is like the devil himself, and it's like this brilliant kind of, he's like this sleazy kind of weird, he probably is a demon anyway in human disguise, but he says like he believes in Lindsley, that's why he recruited him, not because of his background and whatnot, but because of who he is and what he is capable of. He has potential, so he says like, you want out? Well, think about it for a couple of days, and have a couple of days off. And Lindsley says like, can I leave now? And he says, of course you can leave. And then cutting back to Angel's kind of headquarters, where they try to decode the files on these kind of disks, or what they are, I don't know. So from these files that they have encrypted, they find out that this blind girl is going after these other 3 blind kids to get their power or something. So Lindsley and Angel goes to confront Vanessa, and she has this superpower, so she just kicks them around and beats them up. And then Angel realized that if he stands still, she can't really see him. So she's basically blind as a bat when he doesn't move. So when she looks away, he throws in some sheep punches and knocks her out. And that's more or less it. And then they cut back to Angel's headquarters, where one of his partners, I think his name is Wesley, he has decoded the scroll that they brought. And the weird thing is that this scroll is like a prophecy of some kind. So everything that's been happening up to this point, revolving the blind girl and the Wolfram and Hart and everything, is inscribed in the scroll. It's like a magical item. And Wesley asks him if he's confused about this, and Angel just says no, because somehow he's lived for like 300 years or something. He doesn't really care. And then cutting to Lindsley's office, and he confronts his boss, and his boss is actually moving his old stuff out of his office. And Lindsley refers to his boss by his first name. I think it's Holland. And the boss tells him that, yeah, you have great potential, and there's not a lot of guys that will call me by my first name and yet my real name, or something like that. And he explains like that he gets a new job. I think he gets like the old boss like position, and the boss kind of moves up in the world to a higher floor in this demonic kind of weird agency. And Lindsley gets a new chair and a new desk, and the movie ends with Angel looking out into the dark cityscape with lights and everything. So can I recommend this movie, or this series I should say? Absolutely. It's one of those like the fighting scenes is a bit dated and they're a bit corny, and some parts are like sped up to make it look more actiony, or but as of a whole, it's like it spreads a couple of seasons, I think, and it gets better and better as they go, and they introduce new characters. And the Angel series is actually a spin-off of the other Buffy the Vampire Slayer series, and he's one of those characters that you're not sure if he's good or bad and what his intentions are, or is, I should say. But you find out that he was cursed by gypsies or something, and so vampire in this universe, they have no soul, so they're basically just beasts and monsters. But he has been doing bad things, and the gypsies puts a soul in him, and all of a sudden he has guilt, so he doesn't feed on humans. I think he just drinks pig's blood for a better reason than human blood. And he wants to do good, so he starts up this agency, and he tries to do good or repent for all the bad things he's done in the past as a vampire, by still using his vampiric abilities to do some cool stuff. So I can definitely recommend this one. I don't think it airs on like TV anymore, but because it's pretty like in the late 90s and early 2000s. But if you have a chance to watch like if it's on Netflix or any other like streaming services, check it out. You won't be disappointed. It's one of those like, cheap kind of things you can watch and have fun with just watching. So anyway, thanks for watching and listening, and take care.